Where did you go? What's going on? My husband called me in a panic upon realizing I was gone. Just come to the address I sent you and bring your family, I replied, ignoring his questions. When they arrived, I was waiting for them on the porch, their stunned faces reflecting the grandeur of the house behind me. What is this place, Diana? Devin asked, visibly uneasy. Why don't you come inside and I'll explain everything, I said calmly, stepping into the house. My name is Diana. I met my future husband, Devin, on a dating site when I was a 19-year-old college student. He was 25 and already had a stable job. Despite the age gap, love blossomed between us. I've never been one to judge based on age or appearance, so Devin's age was never a concern for me. However, Devin struggled with our age difference. Why are you with me, Diana? I don't understand. I'm so much older than you. You could find someone your own age who's better suited for you, he often questioned. Yes, I could, I would reply, but I don't want to. I fell in love with you, and age doesn't matter to me. Burdened by insecurities, he persisted. There must be other reasons. Diana, it's not natural for someone like you to love someone like me. I wish you'd tell me the truth. I am telling you the truth. I don't want to date boys my age. I love you, and that's all that matters to me. Despite my assurances, Devin struggled to believe me, revealing deep-seated self-esteem issues that may have contributed to his single status. Determined to prove the authenticity of my feelings, I embarked on a journey to demonstrate the depth of my love for him. Throughout our entire relationship, I refrained from letting Devin spend money on me. While I wasn't a broke college student, I wasn't rolling in wealth either. Despite my financial constraints, I made sure to buy him gifts and cover my own expenses each time. I held a modest job, so I wasn't destitute. Devin seemed to appreciate these gestures. Regrettably, his low self-esteem persisted, and he continued to doubt the authenticity of my love. Despite my best efforts to be supportive and understanding, his mistrust shattered my heart. It wasn't until the first 2 years had passed that I discovered the root of Devin's self-esteem issues. Meeting his parents, Lachlan and Dorothy, shed light on his struggles. Lachlan, Devin's father, had experienced a stroke of luck, winning the lottery and dramatically improving their lives. They purchased an extravagant house and secured their future with the remaining funds. However, Lachlan and Dorothy carried an air of superiority. During our initial encounter, Lachlan boasted, "Not everyone can make it big like me." I was a hard-working man, and look where it got me. Do you know how uncommon it is to win a huge lottery? The chances are very low, but I did it on the first try. They took pride in their decision-making skills, insinuating that Devin, despite completing college, would never match their financial success. Dorothy hinted that Devin's previous partners were gold diggers, leaving as soon as their financial situation improved. The couple openly questioned their son's ability to make good decisions, which infuriated me. My husband's parents indirectly accused every girl he dated of being interested only in his money. Over time, Devin internalized these beliefs, contributing to his insecurities. The insinuation that I too was a gold digger became a humiliating part of the narrative. Fed up with the unjust assumptions, I decided to defend both Devin and myself. I declared, "I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you. Devin has worked hard to establish himself in his career, and with time, he will achieve even greater success." Lachlan rebutted, "Well, that doesn't change the fact that women only want him for money. The money we have is ours, but Devin does co-own the house. Ultimately, it will be his when we pass. Let me tell you, every time they see our $200,000 house, I swear these girls see dollar signs in their eyes." "I can't vouch for Devin's past relationships," I replied, "but I'm certainly not in this for the money. I love your son, and that's the reason we're together. I have no interest in your house." "Don't worry, Diana," Dorothy interjected. "Sometimes it's challenging to accept that people can be successful and live in nice houses. You live in a small rented apartment with roommates. After spending time around our house, you might start desiring it too. It's just a matter of time." Lachlan and Dorothy's comments were pushing my anger to the brink. I was on the verge of exploding. Devin heard it all, but chose not to respond or defend himself, steering the conversation in a different direction. His nonchalant attitude surprised me. On our way home, I decided to address it with him. Devin, your parents are being unkind. They're insulting both of us. Why didn't you speak up? What did you expect me to say, Diana? He responded. I can't be certain they're entirely wrong. Women in the past have used me to try and benefit from my parents' wealth. They made grand plans involving the house and how it would be ours once my parents passed away. Even if they were gold diggers, that doesn't mean I am one too. You stayed silent when your family insulted me as well, I added angrily. You know my family is well off now. There's a chance they're right about everything. I'm not saying you had bad intentions, but I can understand why it might seem questionable. You don't have parents, so you rely on my inheritance alone, he concluded. Devin, what you're saying is ridiculous. I've never pushed you to spend money on me, and lacking an inheritance doesn't make me a gold digger, I retorted. Devin remained unwilling to acknowledge my concerns, insisting that he loved me and the reasons behind it didn't matter. He shrugged off the need for further discussion. While some might have found solace in such assurances, I couldn't accept the thought of him harboring negative beliefs about me. I attempted numerous conversations, hoping to make him understand my perspective. I even suggested therapy, recognizing its potential benefits for him. However, he adamantly claimed there was nothing wrong, causing me to eventually abandon the effort. As time passed, I distanced myself from his family. We became engaged shortly after my college graduation. Although my job paid decently, I started saving to contribute to our wedding expenses. We split the costs evenly and got married when I was 22. However, the subsequent 3 years turned into a tumultuous period of my life. Devin frequently visited his parents, returning home in a sour mood each time. I knew Lachlan and Dorothy were still taunting him, branding me as a gold digger. Despite my pleas for Devin to limit contact with them, he continued to engage with his parents. Their words poisoned his perception of our relationship, convincing him that no one could genuinely love him. Even after years of love and care, my husband remained suspicious of me. The burden of constantly proving myself became increasingly draining. The breaking point arrived on Devin's birthday. In line with his preference for small celebrations, we had a quiet cake party at home. I presented him with the expensive watch he had desired. Devin was elated with the gift, but my joy waned when he suggested visiting his parents to showcase it. Despite my reluctance, I accompanied him at his insistence. Upon reaching their house, my husband eagerly displayed the watch to my in-laws. Mom, Dad, look at this beautiful watch Diana gave me. I've been wanting it for a while now. Isn't it gorgeous? He said, proudly showing off his gift. Oh, did she now, Devin? It seems she does love you after all. We were quite concerned for a while there, his father replied, glancing at me with a raised eyebrow. Don't get carried away, Lachlan, Dorothy interjected, shooting her husband a knowing look. She's a gold digger. She married our son because we own a $200,000 house. Let's not forget the facts, she remarked. Yeah, you're right, Lachlan agreed, nodding. I almost forgot that the house is the only reason Diana married Devin. Excuse me, why do you think I married your son for your house? I asked, incredulous. Dorothy smirked. Well, you were just living in an apartment after working for 4 years. Besides, Devin is so much older than you. Why would you marry him unless you want something from him? I'm sure our house was always an attraction, if not his money. I held my ground. I married your son because I love him. All your theories about my gold-digging intentions are wrong. Devin knows the truth, and he will tell you that, won't you, Devin? To my complete surprise, Devin remained silent. I was already feeling uncomfortable with my in-laws' belief that I was a gold digger, but Devin's reaction, or lack thereof, shocked me. He kept his head down and avoided eye contact with me. Feeling perplexed, I decided to push him a bit. I couldn't fathom why he wasn't standing up for me. Why are you not saying anything? I asked, my voice rising slightly. Your parents always thought I was a gold digger. How will they know the real me if you don't tell them? Why are you quiet? Tell them they're wrong, I demanded. Devin shifted uncomfortably and muttered, I don't know what you want me to say, Diana. I don't know if my parents are off the mark. There might be a possibility that you're after this house. Are you serious right now, Devin? I asked, my heart sinking. You believe I married you for your assets? Dorothy interjected smugly. He's not wrong to think like that. It's suspicious that you've never considered buying a house. You haven't even discussed it with him. For someone renting a place, owning a house should have been a priority. My father-in-law added, yeah, it should be a priority, but you've chosen not to work toward owning a house. Our place is expensive, and you can't afford something like this even if you tried. So you decided to marry Devin and settle here. That makes more sense to me. Devin looked at me and said, I mean, why would you marry me, Diana? You might have feelings for me, but I think there's more to it than just love. I found myself speechless after this exchange. All the love I had for Devin seemed to have been reduced to nothing. At the end of the day, my in-laws and even my husband viewed me as a gold digger. While my in-laws' reaction bothered me, it was Devin's response that devastated me. In that moment, I made a decision. I wanted a divorce. I didn't immediately disclose my decision to them. I waited for the right time. So when Devin and I returned to our place, I contacted a lawyer and initiated the divorce process. The lawyer assured me that the papers would be ready within a week. In the meantime, I opted to stay in a separate room. Devin assumed I was just letting off steam and had no idea of what was coming. When the divorce papers finally arrived at my parents' house, I packed my bags and left. When Devin called me in a panic, I instructed him to come to an address and bring my in-laws along. Despite his confusion, he agreed. Upon their arrival, I was waiting on the porch. They looked taken aback by the house. You must be wondering why I brought you here, I began, gesturing to the luxurious home. It's a beautiful house, isn't it? No one can compare their house to this. It costs around $2 million in today's market. Pretty expensive, but worth the money. There's also furniture with an added value of millions. What is this place, Diana? Devin asked, visibly confused. I don't know why you have access to such a house. Why don't you guys come in so that we can talk? I replied smoothly. I can't tell you everything on my porch. What do you mean by your porch? Dorothy asked, her voice laced with skepticism. I brushed off their astonishment and walked inside. They trailed behind, even more impressed by the opulence within. The owners of the house had spared no expense. As we settled down, I took a deep breath and addressed them. I've reached a decision, and that's why you're here. I filed for divorce. Here are the papers. We can proceed with an uncontested divorce if you agree, I remarked. What? I don't understand. Why are you filing for divorce? Devin's voice held a mixture of confusion and concern. Because you and your parents believe I'm a gold digger, I replied, meeting his gaze. You think I'm after your house, right? Despite my assurances, you refuse to listen. So I'll spare you from my gold-digging self and divorce you, Devin. It seems that's what everyone wants, I responded with a smile, letting my gaze sweep over my in-laws. You're considering divorce just because my parents told the truth? Devin said, his tone dripping with disbelief. That's ridiculous. We didn't say anything untrue. Why the dramatics? He added. I think this is for the best, Devin, his mother interjected, her expression unreadable. If she's determined, you might as well sign the papers. You'll find someone who truly loves you someday, she concluded. Why did you bring us to this house? Devin asked, his voice carrying a tinge of accusation. Do you expect me to buy this for you as part of our divorce settlement? Why would I need you to buy this house? I replied calmly. This house is already mine. The shock and disbelief etched on their faces hit me like a bomb. They regarded me with disbelief, as if I were joking. Devin and his family seemed utterly unconvinced. How on earth can you afford a house like this? You're renting, and your job isn't enough to cover this. Stop lying to us, Devin's father demanded, his tone sharp with suspicion. I'm not lying, Devin, I said firmly. Remember when I mentioned that my parents left me some inheritance? Well, this is the house I was talking about. It's under a trust now, but I'll officially inherit it when I turn 30. I don't work a high-paying job because I have a trust fund waiting for me. That's impossible, Devin scoffed. Your parents passed away a long time ago. They should have let you have the house earlier. Well, you see, my parents were aware of the potential leeches I might attract, so they instructed me never to disclose the house or trust fund to anyone. Call it foresight. but they knew someone could exploit me. Hence, they placed everything in a trust to keep it safe until I reached 30. By then, I'd hopefully be settled with someone who genuinely cared about me, not my inheritance, I explained. "Oh my God, Diana," Devon's mother said, her tone suddenly shifting. "You should have told us about your wealth. We had no idea. This is a sizable house you have. We could all live very comfortably here," she remarked. "Yeah, you should have shared that sooner," Devon's father added, sounding both shocked and eager. "We thought you were after our house. We could have avoided all the misunderstandings," he excused himself. "I've always known Diana was perfect for Devon," my mother-in-law chimed in again, her voice now oddly approving. "I've been saying she's a great woman. Look how wealthy she is. Devon really found a great match," she continued to flatter. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. Their attitude toward me had shifted so rapidly that it made my head spin. What was even more bizarre was that they soon seemed to forget about the divorce filing. I took out the divorce papers and signed them. "As I was saying, here's my signature for an uncontested divorce," I said, holding out the papers. "You can just sign these to make it easy. If you want to fight, we can take this to court. I won't live with you anymore," I concluded. "Diana, listen to me," Devon said, his tone suddenly pleading. "There's no need to rush this. You've already proven you're not a gold digger. There's no reason to get a divorce anymore. We'll even apologize for any misunderstanding. That should make things better, right?" he asked. Yes, Lachlan agreed, nodding urgently. "We're sorry, Diana. We doubted you for no reason." I gave everyone a cold, sweeping glance. "I don't want your insincere apologies. For 2 years, you allowed your family to berate me and label me a gold digger. I expected you to at least defend me. But no, you sided with them and accused me of being a gold digger as well. I won't stay with someone who doesn't respect his wife. I'm done with you. We can part ways amicably or involve the courts. The choice is yours," I said firmly. Devon, his mother Dorothy, and his father Lachlan tried their best to change my decision, pleading with me to let go of the past. In their minds, what happened was just a simple misunderstanding. Not once did they show remorse for tarnishing my name. Their audacity fueled my anger. When I reached my breaking point, I demanded they leave before I called the police. My anger intimidated them, and they left. Over the next few weeks, Devon and my in-laws continued to harass me daily. They begged, pleaded, and even offered bribes to convince me to stay. Their belief that I could be swayed with money only intensified my fury. It revealed that they still considered me motivated by financial gain. The irony was that, as Devon co-owned the house with his parents, I was entitled to half of his share. This realization fueled their desperation for reconciliation. Despite their attempts, I remained steadfast in my decision to part ways. I relocated all my belongings to my parents' house, asserting my right to stay there even before officially taking ownership. Devon and the in-laws persisted in reaching out, prompting me to change my number entirely. I wanted to avoid their constant attempts to contact me from unfamiliar numbers. Devon attempted to discuss matters at my workplace, but security was informed and asked him to leave. Devon still hadn't signed the divorce papers, holding out hope for a change in my decision. Nearly a year has passed since I initiated the divorce proceedings. With only a year or less remaining before the legal process concludes, I've managed quite well on my own. Living independently, I've found happiness and financial stability. While I've gone on dates, I'm not considering anything serious at the moment. According to a cousin of Devon's, they are apprehensive about paying me my entitled share of the house. Legal fees are piling up, and their savings are insufficient. Devon is even pushing for a sale, harboring resentment toward his parents for the upheaval in his life. At this point, I simply don't care, and only want to be free from that toxic family.